Klenk Unit 1, Part 9. So I was just saying, this argument, all Australians are surfers, Dan is Australian, therefore Dan is a surfer. You cannot capture the validity of this in sentential logic, so we have this predicate logic way of analyzing it. Dan is Australian gets a symbolization combination of this propositional function and D. So Dan is Australian, instead of just A, right, that's the analysis of the form of that very sentence in sentential logic, but in predicate logic, that same sentence gets symbolization AD. And because we introduce propositional functions, right, we are enabled to use quantifiers and have a sentence like this. So this is a propositional function that says if x, so ax hook sx, says if x is Australian, then x is a surfer. And this is going to be called the universal quantifier. We're going to have two quantifiers, universal quantifier, existential quantifier. The universal quantifiers, this says for all x, you'll learn all this in Unit 10, just putting your appetite. For all x, if x is Australian, then x is a surfer. This will be the symbolization of all Australians are surfers. Okay? So that is the symbolization of the first premise. That's the symbolization of the second premise. And the conclusion, Dan is a surfer. All Australian surfers, Dan is Australian, is going to be, so SX is X is a surfer. So SD will be Dan is Australian. And now we will be actually able to provide a proof for the validity of this argument. Right? There'll be a rule called universal instantiation, allowing you to go from a universal statement. If for every individual x, if x is Australian, then x is a surfer, you'll be able to infer by that, by a new rule. We'll introduce 4 new rules in predicate logic to go with the rules in the inside cover of your book, introduced in Unit 7 and 8 for doing proofs. You'll be able to infer by universal instantiation, if D is Australian, then D is a surfer. If Dan is Australian, then Dan is a surfer. And now these three basically match this form over here, right? If A, then S, and A, therefore S. Here we have if AD, right? We have a conditional here too, and we also have the antecedent of the conditional. So we're allowed to infer by the same rule, it's called modus ponens, able to infer the conclusion of the condition. So that's what we'll be doing in predicate logic. And the point was just to show you how we can, what is the new logic for? It's for being able to comprehend, formally present the logical validity of this argument, the validity of which we could intuit but not capture, not formally present in sentential logic. Okay, so that's the end of Unit 1. In Unit 2, we will be entering into sentential logic and getting into the structure of it and learning the difference between simple and compound sentences and so on. Before we go, my assistant would like to tell you something. Do you want to get up on the thing and tell him?
I have a loose tooth today.
She has her first loose tooth. Isn't that exciting? You want to say hi to the kids, August?